Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start this Shakespeare section. And at the beginning, I'm going to say a few words about the prebiotic chemistry. I think all of us familiar with this, that we are going to start very small molecules, then to find whether we could get the mixture of interesting molecules, or maybe we call it the biological interesting molecules. For example, we could find the amino acids. But then the question is, which kind of, or what kind of amino acids? We might have the alpha amino acid, beta amino acid, or even the gamma amino acid. But the nature only chose the alpha amino acid for the protein backbone, especially only the L amino acid, not the D. So this is one of the key issues the prebiotic chemists are interested in. Then, if we have the right alpha amino acid, how this amino acid could be connected together to a functionally peptides, or finally, it's a functionally protein. So the protein chemists are interested in these issues. The other is the nucleosides. Nucleosides are even more complicated because we all know that they are bases. How to make the right base? Among all this heterocyclic chemistry, could we make the right 4 bases? AGCU, adenosine, guanosine, cytosine, and uracil. It's not easy, right? Finally, even we have the right base, can we hook to the right nucleosides? Nucleosides chose only ribose. So here another decision of the nature, or why nature chose the ribose for the nucleic acid backbones. Because among all the carbohydrate chemists, we know there could be many kind of sugars, or pentose, sixose, hexose. And the ribose, if even we have the ribose, can we connect them to the right chemical bond? So this means the alpha or beta connection. So these are tough questions. Finally, this morning, I think we heard Professor Sutherland. He has very beautiful presentation. Finally, we should connect to the polymers, RNA. So RNA is one of the very fragile polymers. It's quite sensitive to many conditions. So the key issue of the prebiotic chemist pay a lot of attention to the RNA, how to make the long chain or long polymer of RNA. And regarding all this catalysis, the acidic could catalyze that. And this morning we also heard about we could have the H2S, the sulfur chemistry could catalyze that. Even the metal ion, we could involve in the transition or the non-transition metal ions, or even the rare earth metal ions. So the metal ions doing a lot of work. Regarding to the divalent, how the magnesium was chosen, like one of the speakers mentioned, the magnesium was chosen for the ATP chemistry. So the metal ion is so important. The physics, you could use all different, other than the chemistry, we could use the physical method, such as the UV radiation, the microwave, the slow electron. This morning we heard we could use plasma. All these exobiologists are interesting. We might mimic the highly radiation condition to make molecules. Finally, how could we transfer through this system, the catalyst of this system, to the small organic molecule, or even the important small molecule like small peptides or small nucleotides, nucleic acids. So today, I think we have speakers. Professor Hart is going to mention about how the intercalators might be, the small organic molecules may be interesting and helpful to make the nucleic acids. And we also have speakers, Professor Faris. He's going to talk about the modern RNA wars, how to make the RNA into even 50 mers. And then we have Giovanna. She's going to talk about spontaneous generation of RNA in water. We know the RNA is not so stable in sometimes in acidic condition or in water, but she says she could do that. We're going to hear that, right? And Katarina, then even after we have all this ready, could we make a protosea? The protosea means you might have the memory, and you should make all these active polymers together, then into a compartment to make it in the protosea type. So we have Katarina. Katarina, she's going to talk about how the natural selection going to make the protoseas. So the next question is, how about the phosphorus chemistry? We heard many important lecture about the phosphorus chemistry. The phosphorus chemistry could involve in the catalysis other than, they have very interesting behavior other than the sulfuric acid. I think we all know that Professor Fox, he used aspartic acid under the high concentrated sulfuric acid could make the micelles, but it needs very high temperature, over 100 degrees C. However, if you change the acid from the sulfuric acid to phosphoric acid, the temperature could low down to 60 degrees, and still he get the micelle. I think we all very familiar with his work. So also regarding how to make, I mentioned, it's difficult to make the right, the nucleosides. Polopuruma, the older generation scientists, Polopuruma group, he used the phosphide. In the present Archaea phosphide, they could make nucleosides. Without the phosphide, not easy to make that. Then, furthermore, if the base, if you have after you have the right base, the nucleoside also could be catalyzed by the phosphate chemistry. So where is the phosphorus comes from? So next question, we're all concerned about that. So one of the speakers in this group, Professor Teresky, he's going to talk about something about the phosphorus chemistry. So it could be the hypophosphite or the trimetaphosphate. Trimetaphosphate, it could be produced from the volcanoes, and even interesting so this inorganic, the inorganic phosphide could be dropped on the earth through the through the comets also. So we have all the interesting chemistry regarding the phosphate. I think we are happy that we're going to have one speaker to talk about that. And I think I'm not going to much words, but in my own group, we're doing after we have the alpha amino acid hooked the phosphorus, we could have many interesting reactions, including the esterification, the ester exchange on phosphorus, the migration from the nitrogen to the oxygen, also the peptide synthesis and the nucleotide synthesis. We have made the discovery, and so we might interestingly focus that. So how this compound are so interesting? Because only the alpha amino acid could do its job. If we change to the beta, all this chemistry shut down, no chemistry. If you go to the beta amino acid, gamma amino acid, or the other type of amino acid, nothing happened. Only the alpha amino acid doing the things. So why nature chose this, right? And so we're going to start the speaker. And the first speaker is Professor Nico Hart, and he's going to talk about exploring the peptide and the possible contribution of the base pair intercalation and the reversible backbone linkage in the origin of the first RNA-like polymer. Professor Hart, please.